The average player is fucked. Doesn't matter what game is it. If you're an average player, you're probably kinda lost. Maybe you feel stuck and unable to hit that breakthrough you've been looking for. You probably keep on failing every time you try to add something new into your gameplay. You probably have low levels of confidence. Maybe you have cycles of negative thoughts whenever you try to rank up. Just the thought of improving makes you feel sick because everything you have tried so far didn't work. You have been trying, you have, but because nothing seems to work, you just don't know what to do anymore. If you resonate with anything I've just said, this one video is gonna change it all for you. I was in that same exact position myself a couple of months ago. I would be cussing a lot and barely holding myself from breaking my entire setup because of how terrible I was. It was not a fun experience at all. After every ranked session, I would be slamming my door and asking myself questions such as, what am I doing wrong? Why is nothing working? I did not feel anything other than being a failure. Every guide out there is just a waste of time. I did it all by myself, and after a lot of struggling, I'm now finally better than 99% of players. And so I've spent the past 1 month or so researching, scripting, recording and editing this one video to get you the same results. It's not even a normal video at this point, bro. This is a fucking course. This is a literal masterclass. I'm not gonna waste your time in this video by making a clickbaity thumbnail, make you watch the ads and sponsorships, and then you leave clueless on what the fuck you should be doing. No, I give you my word that if you watch this video till the end, you will easily become better than 99% of players. And for that reason, this video deserves your full fucking attention. You will learn advanced concepts that have only been taught to the best players in the world. You will start enjoying the process of becoming better rather than feeling stuck and hopeless like the majority of players. You will learn how to reach the top in any competitive scene, not just Brawl, by the way, be it Valorant, Fortnite, basketball, football, you fucking name it. You will learn what it takes to become better than everyone else, okay? I'm gonna ask you for one thing in return. Like the fucking video. This shit took a whole month to make, and the view count is always based on how many likes the video have. If you drop a like, I literally get about like extra 20 views, and if one of those guys like the video, I get another 20 views. And so just by you dropping a fucking like, man, I get like 100 or 300 extra views, and it scales up exponentially, right? Now this video is going to be helpful, and I promised you about that. It's gonna set you apart from everyone. However, if you wanna take it even further than that, I highly recommend you get my coaching. And I'm not saying that because I'm biased or anything. No, it's genuinely really fucking good. I'll make a custom plan specifically for you, and you will easily go up by like 100 or 200 elo the day you get started. And this have worked for many other guys so far, right? You are not the first one. There are other people who have got this before you. Anyway, without wasting any more time, let's get started. Section 1, awareness, the starting point. The point of this section is to give you a good starting point regarding having a good mindset and teach you how improvement actually works. So what do I mean by awareness? Generally speaking, there are two things you need to be aware of at all times. They are pretty much the same whenever you're trying to improve at anything in life, be it sports, the gym, esports, money, relationships, it doesn't matter what is it, alright? If you don't do this, then there is no improvement, which is your awareness of the situation and awareness of your actions. To be aware of your situation, there are two crucial things you need, and they are telling yourself the truth and also humility. A lot of players don't understand how dog shit they are. I'm gonna sound like an asshole in this video, by the way. This is like a quick disclaimer, but just understand that it's for your own benefit. If it's gonna piss you off, bro, then get the fuck out of here, bro. This channel is not for you. The people I'm trying to help here are the ones who say, yeah, this guy sounds like a dick, but maybe he's right, you know? That's good. If you want to take any advice, like I said, you need a good level of humility. So back to what I was saying. I have seen a lot of guys in the comments saying, I don't struggle against diamond, but I do against gold. I'm only stuck in gold because people in here are so brain dead, and so much more along those lines. If you were any better than the people in your elo, then you wouldn't be stuck. The truth is that you fucking suck, and your failure to acknowledge that is the big issue here. Because what I've just said either number one offended you, or two, you don't want to listen to it. you will not make any progress whatsoever. Tell yourself the truth. You can only make progress when you lower your ego and see where you're at. Think about your gameplay recently and your mindset, your losses and wins recently. Are you really that good? Because listen, if you are the top 1%, then fair enough, right? But most likely you're not if you're watching this kind of videos, right? I've already explained this in one of my previous videos and shown this graph, right? This is called the Dunning-Kruger effect, and this effect states that people with a low skill level in any profession tend to overestimate their abilities, and this is where your awareness comes in. You have to be self-critical and always tell yourself the truth. Be aware of your situation. If you're playing well, that doesn't mean there is nothing for you to learn anymore. Having a great game doesn't mean you've played perfectly. Even a great performance game from like a low rank player, like for example like gold or plat for example, will always have so many flaws that a high rank player will be able to point out very easily. Now, if you've heard all this and you're somewhat convinced of what I'm saying here, that's a good sign. You have a good level of humility and you're already ahead of most people, so you should be proud of yourself for that. The other thing that you want to be aware of, like I said, are your actions. Okay, what I mean by this is that don't be a fucking NPC, right? This is something I had to learn by myself over time, and I wish I knew this from the start. Every action you take along the way has a specific outcome. Playing ranked and playing experimental will result in two different outcomes. Throwing attacks with intentions and throwing attacks randomly will result in two different outcomes. You want to be aware of every single action you take and know what's the outcome of it. This video right here is like a good guide for this if you want to watch it. I go over everything you can do in game, out game, and so much more, plus a tier list of what's good and what's bad, what to do, what to avoid if you want to improve, so that you can have a reason behind everything you do. But something else I want to add to that is to be aware of your movements and attacks as well when playing. Like I said earlier, literally just don't be a fucking NPC, okay? And do not do stuff without a reason behind it, because if you do so, you will have no control or influence over your progress and improvement. However, if you become aware of your movements, habits and attacks, you will now have the leverage to change them, to change your current actions, which will lead to changing the position you're in and putting yourself in a better one that you get to choose, which is exactly what improvement is, right? Section 2. Anxiety and fear. I've put this at the start before anything else because it's usually the first obstacle you're gonna face in competitive games, and if you don't get rid of your anxiety and fear in game from the start, you will be improving at a rate of like, I would say 3x or 3x lower than what you usually can, which means, for example, instead of hitting diamond after 700 hours or so, you will need like 1.5k or 2k hours before you hit it for the first time. So you better pay very close attention to this section. Before we learn about how to deal with anxiety and how to get rid of it, we first need to understand what anxiety actually is. I would say anxiety is the fear of the unknown. It's your body and brain trying to protect you from a potential threat that can lead to your death. When your brain identifies something as a threat, it triggers fear and a lot of chemicals get released in your body, causing a racing heartbeat, breathing heavily, tense muscles, hands trembling, and trouble focusing, and so much more, right? Which is also known as the fight or flight response. It's kind of funny because our brains can be stupid sometimes and cannot see the difference between a real wolf that is trying to eat us out or like mordex scythe, for example. That's why this response gets activated in something like ranked, for example, right? What's also interesting is that the anxiety trigger can be different for one person to another. Maybe for someone it's ranked, for another one it's when a person spectates them, or for someone else it's when they're playing with a top player or a pro player or maybe like a famous streamer, right? The trigger can be different, but the response will always be the same. Knowing your trigger is going to be so much helpful here, so you need to identify it, right? I'll tell you why later, but for now you just need to know what is it. For most people the trigger is ranked, and if this is the case for you, we need to get rid of your ranked anxiety as soon as possible, because ranked is your best friend when trying to get better at any game in general, not just brawlhalla. And if you're anxious every time you play it, then like I said, you will be improving at about like 3 3x or 4x slower than your real potential. The good news here is that it's actually not that difficult to get rid of the anxiety. Not only that, but we can also use it for our own benefit, and I'm gonna show you exactly how to do that, right? That's why anxiety is not a bad thing at all. It really isn't. It's just your body and mind trying to protect you, and it's also like helping you arise to the challenge you're facing, and understanding that is very important here, okay? Before I tell you exactly what to do, once again, you first need to know what's happening here, okay? You see, when the anxiety trigger kicks in, there are two different unconscious roads you can take, and both of them will lead you to the fight or flight response. That is the short road and the long road. The short road is fast and messy. Here you just assume the worst, you take no chances, and you don't care about thinking logically. The long road is precise, calm, and more thoughtful. In here you ask questions and process the situation better. Both of these roads will lead to the fight or flight response. From there, a lot of your normal body processes, such as digestion and your immune system, are stopped so that you can allocate that energy to this survival mechanism instead. I know you're thinking right now, wait, what is this guy talking about? What does this have to do with anything, right? What does this have to do with brawlhalla or with ranked? I'm gonna explain everything in a bit, but before I do that, you need to understand what's going on here. So, like I said, when your body allocate that energy to the fight or flight response, you get kind of like, we can say, kind of like a buff, right, for a short period of time, so that you can perform at your best during this challenge. It's your body helping you arise to the problem you're facing right now. During this short period, your reaction speed literally gets faster, you will think clearer and better. It's literally a buff, like I said, right? Because now you're breathing heavily, you're getting more oxygen in, your heart is beating faster, which means your body is getting more blood, your pupils are dilating, and that causes you to see better and have more focus. And once you get this, right, it's here where you get to choose between using it to either fight or flight. Meaning, you will either stay and deal with the fear, which is the fight response, or you will run away to safety, which is the flight response. Section 2.1, how to deal with anxiety and fear. So now that you have a clear understanding of what anxiety actually is and what's really happening behind it, what is a practical, no bullshit way to deal with this situation and get the best out of it? Number one, repetition. Remember earlier when I said anxiety is the fear of the unknown? It's mostly all about uncertainty, right? Once that uncertainty becomes certain, once that unknown becomes known, that fear will immediately go away. And you do that by repetition over and over and over again. So that's the first thing you want to do. Imagine if there is like a, this is like an analogy I like to give when it comes to fear. Imagine if there is a dark room, a dark place that you're so scared of, okay? This dark room triggers a lot of fear and anxiety in you. Now imagine if I come to you and force you to enter that scary room 100 times, and every single time you enter the room, you always 100% comes out safely without any issues at all. We can all agree that by the 100th time you enter the room, it's not gonna be nowhere near as scary as the first time. In fact, it's gonna be very comfortable, right? Because by entering 100 times, your brain has identified this room as a safe place, unlike the first time. Because at first, you've never been here before, you cannot see anything, and you are uncertain whether this is a safe place or not. And so your brain automatically activates this fight or flight mode to be ready if there is anything surprising. It's the exact same thing with everything else. For ranked, for example, you have to get at least 300 or 500 wins in one season to understand that there is nothing to be afraid of, even if it's your peak, even if you're fighting like a good player, even if someone is spectating you, it doesn't fucking matter. Keep on repeating over and over and over again. If you do what I've just said, at some point you will understand that there is nothing to be afraid of. You will be opening up the game and going straight into ranked. You will not give a single shit about elo or losing, because at that point you know for a fact that you will eventually go back up, no matter how low you drop, you know. This is why identifying the trigger is very important, like I said earlier, because it's the thing you're gonna be repeating over and over again. So if it's ranked, play more ranked. If it's a tournament, play more tournaments, etc, etc, right? This is the most helpful way against anxiety by far. Number two, Stay calm and choose the long road. Like I explained earlier, when fear strikes, there are two different unconscious roads you can choose between: the short road and the long road. Usually this decision is made subconsciously, right? However, you actually have control over the decision if you do the right things. When anxiety kicks in, right, it mostly resides in the parietal lobe of your brain, influencing you to take the low road, which is freaking out, hands trembling, running and hiding, right? Which in this case, getting away from ranked and not playing it ever again. But if you just relax, if you stay calm, okay, if you just stay calm, you will channel the high road and you will access the frontal lobe of your brain, which is responsible for problem solving, impulse control, reasoning and better decision making, right? The long road usually takes more time to complete, which means you're going to be scared for a little bit, for a little while, but it will always deliver a better and more precise solution every single time. So just make sure you stay calm under the pressure. Number 3, never say or think about what can go wrong. This has such a big, disgusting impact on your gameplay and progress, so I have dedicated an entire section for this later, but I'm gonna explain this very briefly right now. Never allow your brain to think negatively of the current situation. You need to be critical of your own brain and thoughts, right? Returning back to the first section of the video, be aware of what's going on, be aware of the negative self-talk and stop it as soon as it arises, because it's not gonna help you in any shape or form, but instead make the situation even worse. Number 4, breathe. Next to staying calm, this is another way that can help you channel the high road. Breathing is probably the best way that can help you stay calm by far. A breathing technique I'll share with you here have been shown to reduce like stress and anxiety to a really good level. Now, it's important to not breathe too loudly when doing this. You want to breathe quietly and in a calm manner. You're trying to tell your brain that you are not in danger. There is nothing to be afraid of, right? So being relaxed is very important. So this technique requires very little effort actually, right? You do it by taking a deep inhale through the nose and exhaling out of the mouth a couple of times in a row. Again, the breath shouldn't be too strong, but should not be too light either, but somewhat in the middle, right? And a deep one for sure. Number 5, always choose fight over flight. Whenever you have fear, your brain and body will always choose the flight response first, at least for the majority of people, right? Because it's the easier option to deal with the situation, which is in this case leaving ranked and getting the hell out of here as soon as possible. You want to train yourself to choosing the fight response every single time, which is staying and dealing with the fear no matter what. Because think about it, right? What's on the other side of fear? Is it death? Like, are you gonna fucking die, bro, right? No, right? So what's on the other side? We can all agree it's everything you wanted. Like, you're not gonna die. So if you're not gonna die, you're gonna get the reward, right? Anything you want in life, not just Brawl by the way, anything you want will always have some sort of a fear blocker before you get access to it. It doesn't matter what is it. If there was no fear, then it would have been so easy to succeed, be it making money, playing sports, participating in a tournament, or maybe like getting some bitches because, I don't know, you're a fucking virgin or some shit. Oh my god, bro, I'm such a fucking asshole. Anyway, fear will always be involved, otherwise everyone would have been successful, and at that point it's not even success, right? So have some fucking balls and courage, bro. Like, holy shit, what do you want me to say? Courage is not like the absence of fear, right? Courage is feeling fear but still doing the action anyway. That's courage. Let's say, for example, there is some cute bitch that you think is stunning, you think she's hot and everything, right? But you're just kinda scared to speak to her. Being courageous is not being fearless. It's not the absence of fear, like I said. Instead, it's feeling the fear and still commanding your legs to walk up to her and saying something anyway. Did you know that you don't have to act upon the fear that you have, right? You can feel the fear as much as you want and still do something different. Your actions are not tied to the emotion. Separate them from each other, okay? Section 3, entering the flow state. You've probably heard about this concept before, right? The flow state. It's also known as being in the zone. Athletes often talk about being in the zone, etc. But what is it exactly and how can it help us reach our goals? Flow is the mental state in which a person is completely merged into the task at hand. When being in a flow state, you have zero irrelevant thoughts. You are completely and fully merged into the activity you're doing. It's when your actions and consciousness melt together and you find a balance between your skill level and how challenging that task is. More on this later. This requires a high level of focus and concentration, but once you're there, you become unstoppable. And when you finish your session, you will literally look back and wonders how the hell were you performing so good. A flow state can last anywhere between like 30 minutes to 2 hours, and it has multiple benefits. The first benefit, and probably the most important one here, is obviously greater performance. A lot of collective research have shown that flow can increase motivation and productivity by 500%, improve creativity by 400 to 700%. And some DARPA researchers have actually tested this on a military snipers as well, and their target acquisition skill have improved 230%, and it's going to be the same for us here as well. Let's say right now, for example, you're an 1800 elo player. When being in a flow state, you will play like you are 2000 elo player. If you are 1600, you'll play like you're 1800, etc., right? Every single time you enter the flow state, literally every single time you get it, you will also get a new peak with it and achieve your goals every single time. Or maybe if it's like in a tournament, for example, you will get like a higher placement than what you usually get. The second benefit is happiness. Believe it or not, this will actually make you into a happier person. In psychology, the flow state is considered as the peak human experience because your mind just stops talking and you lose your sense of time for this specific period. There was like some massive study done on people, and I'm not gonna link it or anything, go search it up by yourself, I don't give a fuck. Basically they found out that every time you're not doing a specific task, you're gonna be unhappy, and the opposite of that is being in a flow state and immersed with a specific task. That's when you're gonna be like the happiest, right? The third benefit of flow is that it can be used as a coping skill for stress and anxiety. So if you feel like you have anxiety when you play, or maybe like you stress quite a lot on a day-to-day basis, then learning this will be very, very helpful with that. Now this all sounds great, right? Flow sounds like some magic that is going to solve all of your problem here instantly, and that could be the case if you can access the flow state on demand. But the problem here is that most of us can't, right? So until you've trained yourself to entering this state every single day, flow is gonna remain an illusion. Right, so how do you exactly do that? Here is the no bullshit practical method to accessing the flow state on demand every single day. Actionable step 1. Find a balance between your skill level and the challenge difficulty. This is a chart called the experience fluctuation model. At the bottom, we have the skill level from the left to right. It's low, medium, and then a high skill level. And at the left side, we have the challenge difficulty from the bottom to the top. When you are not skilled at something, and there is no challenge, you will be in a state of apathy and you wouldn't care at all about the task. When you are highly skilled at something and the challenge is easy, you will be in a relaxed mode. However, when it's the other way around and the challenge is difficult without having a high skill level, you will be in a state of anxiety. The ideal state to reach flow is when the challenge difficulty is as high as your skill level. In here, your mind is stimulated by the challenge and requires utilizing higher skill level. It's a very, very thin line that you don't often get to experience. So that's why you need to know the balance between your skill level and the challenge difficulty. For me personally, I found that this line is when I'm like around 1 or 2 games below my peak elo, because that's as difficult as it can get for me right now. Plus, I've already reached this point of elo before, which means I will not be anxious since the challenge is not out of my league because I deserve this elo. I've been here before, and so whenever I play ranked, I always have the goal to get a new peak every single time. And you should do the same thing here as well. Let's say, for example, if it's a tournament, then try your best to get a higher placement than the last one you've got. If last time you placed like 64th, this time try placing like, aim for your goal to be like 45th, right? Or increase the difficulty every time, right? You always want to progressively overload. If you work out, you probably know what that is, but if you're a fat fuck, basically it means, no wait, if you're a fat fuck, first go hit the gym, And progressive overload basically means like it's increasing the difficulty every week or so by a small amount. So that's why earlier I told you to aim for a new peak every time you open up the game, because like that you're increasing the difficulty of the challenge, and it's not unreasonable, right? It's very, very achievable. Okay, actionable step 2: eliminate the flow blockers. There are very specific things that will prevent you from entering flow if you don't get rid of them, and they are called the flow blockers, right? There are two types of flow blockers: mental and physical. The biggest mental blocker is being emotional, specifically fear, anxiety, grief, anger, and coping. If any of these 5 take place, there is no flow state. It is over. You have to train your mind to spot any thought that is related to these 5 and immediately eliminate it as soon as possible. We have previously discussed how you can deal with anxiety and fear, but for anger and other emotions, I have dedicated an entire section for that later on in the video, so make sure you stick around till the end. The physical blockers are the distractions, and this can be anything, right? Maybe it's a notification on your phone, maybe someone is calling you, perhaps it's your dog, maybe it's being in a call with someone, right? Anything that makes you deviate your attention and do something irrelevant to the task at hand is a distraction that will prevent you from entering the flow state. To be able to access flow, you need 100% of your brain, 100% of your like thought process working on one thing. That's why you want to set up your environment in a way that is going to make it calm and without any distractions, right? And then dedicate all of that energy into that one specific task you're doing. So make sure you take care of any responsibilities you have beforehand, because once you deviate your focus, the flow state is off. Actionable step 3: the flow triggers. Just like the flow blockers, there are specific things that can increase the likelihood of you entering flow, and they are called the flow triggers, right? There are 2 of them, okay? The first trigger is to have a clear goal for the session. Do you want to get a new peak? Do you want to top 8? Do you want to get higher elo than what you currently have? What do you want? You need a specific number, a very specific and clear goal before anything else. The second trigger is to have a specific and consistent routine. There is a very specific routine that I would recommend you do here. 99.9% of the people watching this video will not do this, and that's why if you do it, you will have such a disgusting advantage over the people you're up against in any competitive scene. Once again, basically, there are 5 neurochemicals in your brain that are responsible for triggering flow, and you need all 5 of them to be able to enter the state consistently. And the routine I'm gonna give you here will fulfill just that. You wanna do this routine every time you desire to enter flow, or honestly just add it to your life, man. Not just for brawl or gaming or anything like that, but just do it because it has so many other benefits as well, and it doesn't even take that much time to complete, honestly, right? You start by exercising. It can be anything for at least 30 minutes. Go for a run, hit the gym, or anything. I personally do calisthenics. So try out different things, right? And find what works best for you. Followed by that is meditation, bro. This shit is fucking dumb. I see this everywhere, bro. It's fucking crazy. It's absolutely stupid. It has so many benefits. It blows my mind that people actually don't meditate, right? It's often seen as this like weird, useless thing of like yoga where you just sit and then you do but no, that's not what meditation is, right? Meditation is basically a kind of like a workout for your brain, right? Basically, you close your eyes and focus on one specific thing in your head. I like focusing on my breath because it's always there, right? And within a couple of seconds, you will lose your focus and you will start thinking about some random bullshit without even knowing, without even realizing, right? After that, you will realize that you've lost your focus and you're not thinking about that specific thing anymore, okay? When that happened, simply bring back your focus back to the breath or to wherever you were focusing on at the start. Every time you do this cycle, every time the cycle happens in your head, it's like a push-up for the brain, right? It's like imagine like I don't know, like a bench press, a pull-up for the brain, okay? And it has so many benefits. It is unreal, right? After those 2, you want to finish the routine with very specific foods, and they are caffeine, dark chocolate that is 70% or higher, otherwise it's fucking pointless, full of sugar, and finally something that is very rich in protein, okay? If you do this routine, you will be able to access flow on demand every single time. Not only that, but your mental health will improve, you will become happier, you will have better attention span, and so much more. Bro, so many fucking benefits. So I cannot list them out all in here. So make sure you do it, right? And the actionable step 4 is the flow cycle. Once you're done with the prerequisite and you're finally sitting and ready to play, here's what's gonna happen. This is a process called the flow cycle, and it starts by the struggle, right? Here you get a sense of like discomfort, and we start having the desire to leave as soon as possible. You will want to relieve yourself from the discomfort and basically like distract yourself, okay? The sad truth is that most people just stop here at the first few minutes of the struggle phase, and they never persist long enough to get into flow. That's why earlier I emphasized so much about always choosing fight over flight. So learn how to get persistent and resilient through the struggle phase. You may lose a couple of games here and there, right? You may not be having fun, you may start getting negative thoughts. Just stay calm and push through, okay? After that, release happens. Once you reach the edge of fighting with the discomfort of the task with true focus, your brain starts on releasing the 5 needed chemicals that we mentioned earlier, and that will lead to enhancing your focus and motivation and finally pop you out of the struggle phase, right? And then next we have flow, which is the state we've been mentioning here this whole time. When you enter flow, your prefrontal cortex of your brain deactivates, which is the part that is responsible for self-control, planning, decision-making, problem-solving, etc., which is the logical part of your brain. When it shuts off, you get instinctive, rapid decision-making. In here, your mind and body are perfectly synchronized. Athletes often say this, that during the flow state, there is no conscious effort of like forcing their mind or body into performing well. They're not actively trying to control, but quite literally the opposite, where they let things happen naturally. It feels effortless, right? Flow can never be reached if you are overthinking about your decisions. And then finally at the end we have the recovery phase, where we integrate the new knowledge or skill that we acquired during flow. And there you have it, the very specific action plan you need to enter flow on demand and dominate literally everyone, right? So I highly recommend you take this seriously and do all the action steps if you're going to play in like a major tournament, right? Or maybe you want to hit like your first top 8, consider doing those, right? Or maybe if you're like so desperate to rank up, if you've been stuck in the same rank for the past 500 hours or something, bro, then go ahead and take action on this. It will set you apart from everyone else. Now let's move on to the next section. Section 4, self-image. In this section we will be discussing probably the most important topics of this video, which is the way you see yourself, right? We will be covering things such as ego, confidence, self-talk, and the changes that you need to make. Let's start off with ego, yeah? I've always had a different opinion about this. I never understood why is ego seen as like a bad thing these days. Like, why is everyone a fucking pussy? Why is everyone so weak and fragile these days? Like, what's going on? The moment you start speaking highly of yourself or you speak with confidence, you will be called arrogant, insecure, egotistical, etc., etc. I had a guest the other day on one of my videos. His name is Keldra. He's a pro player, and I asked him what was the biggest switch that helped you get to where you're at right now. And he said it's understanding that pro players ain't shit. They're not as good as you think, and they make a lot of mistakes just like anyone else. And a lot of weak motherfuckers in the comments were saying, oh, this guy is so egotistical, the cap with this guy is crazy, this guy is delusional, and so much more along those lines. I was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, what the hell do you know? This is exactly why you're low elo. Me personally, I don't think being arrogant or egotistical is a bad thing at all. I would even argue that it's actually helpful or even necessary to get to the top. You wanna know something, bro? Every top player is arrogant. Almost pretty much every single one of them is egotistical. Ego will never really hurt you at all, but only under one condition, which is to not be delusional. If you're gonna be arrogant, make sure you're factual as well. Let me give you an example. Let's say right now you're 1500, right? Just as an example. And you hop into ranked and you queue this weirdo slow players who's 6 spamming, right? You lose the match with him doing 500 damage and you only did 300. If you start talking shit in this case, then you're just being retarded, honestly. I don't know what else to tell you. Because his playstyle doesn't matter, his character pick doesn't matter either, none of that matters. What matters is that did he win or not? What does the numbers say? If he's doing 500 damage and won the game, he's objectively the better player. You cannot argue against that because it's a fact. You can make as much excuses as you want, you can cope as much as you want, but it doesn't change the fact that he's better than you and that he won. We're gonna come back to the excuses and coping later on in the video. I've dedicated a whole entire section for that. But other than that, honestly, ego is good. It really is beneficial. Like if it's the other way around, let's say for example you are the one who's 3-stalking people and you're better than 99% of players, then how the fuck is being arrogant or talking low of others is going to be bad for you at all, right? However, I'm gonna warn you that this is very tricky and not easy to pull off at all, right? My advice will be to completely like kind of forget about it, right? Kind of forget about ego and arrogance up until you reach like the top 1%, which is around like 2300 elo mark, okay? Or at least if you really want to have it, if it's like a part of like your personality, right, then make sure you do not disrespect someone who's better than you or the people that you lose to, okay? Be smart with it. Make sure you have it under control at all costs. Otherwise you will just be delusional and you will not see any progress whatsoever, right? Now let's move on to confidence, okay? Wanna know the most efficient, no bullshit way to become more confident? Be competent and capable first. A lot of players think that confidence is just not caring about what others think, right? It's being comfortable around other people and being good at managing your stress, okay? But that's not really what confidence is. I would say confidence is capability. Are you capable of doing this thing or not? If you're not capable, then what do you think is gonna happen? You will have anxiety, right? And what is anxiety once again? It's the fear of the unknown. When you don't know what's gonna happen, you get anxiety, you become scared. However, when you do that thing so many times, you know what's going to happen and you will be confident. It's that simple. Repetition and practice is the key here, okay? Because with enough practice, you will know for a fact that you can do something, or that if you couldn't do it, you will probably learn from the experience. Or maybe that, let's say you couldn't do it and you couldn't learn, you will be just fine, and that can only come from repetition over and over again. This is the most simple way to understand what confidence is and how you can actually earn it. But it's not going to be easy at all, like, because you will have to put in the effort. If you don't put in the effort, if you don't do what it takes, how do you expect yourself to be confident? So go ahead and achieve something, man. Get something done, and confidence is going to be a byproduct of your achievement. The next topic we have here is very, very important, which is self-talk. Okay, now I know what you're already thinking. Wait, what? Self-talk? This guy's a weirdo. What the fuck is he yapping about? Let me explain, right? So once again, some studies, I'm gonna act like a nerd here and I'm gonna say it, I don't give a fuck. Some studies shows that we actually talk to ourselves at a rate of 300 to 1000 words per minute. Think about how fucking crazy that is, right? That's like 5 to 16 words per second. And so if we don't work on this section, we will be missing on quite a lot of rewards that we could have gotten for free very, very easily. There's another study that was done on 2 groups of tennis players, right? And they found out that the group who had a self-talk strategy ended up performing 13 times better than the group who didn't after just 1 week. They also reported to have self-confidence scores 3 times higher, and they were able to lower their anxiety levels twice as quickly as those who didn't. So you can see how big of an impact this one have, right? So why not work on it, right? And the first way to start working on this is by being aware of the thoughts that goes through your head. Back to the first point of the video once again. You want to know what kind of conversations are you having with yourselves. Don't be a fucking NPC. Right now, probably your self-talk is so automatic to the point that you don't even recognize what is being said at all. You want to pay very close attention and become mindful of the voice in your your head, specifically the thoughts that comes when you lose a match, lose a stock, or make a big mistake that piss you off a lot. Once you become aware of your thoughts, you'll start to notice patterns of negative thoughts. Because like in high pressure games like ranked, for example, or tournaments, we naturally become emotionally invested into it. But what you need to understand is that high emotional states cause you to think irrationally, and that is probably the most detrimental thing to your progress. Because when being emotional, when being angry or sad about the losses, you'll start saying things to yourself such as, I'm fucking useless, I'm playing so bad today, why even bother playing when I'm terrible at the game? And this is probably, like I said, is the worst thing you can do to yourself if you're trying to improve. Because what you say end up becoming your reality. Sounds cringe, but it's absolutely true. I don't give a fuck. There is even a scientific explanation to this, and it's called the placebo effect. You can look it up. If you believe that you're playing bad, you will play bad. If you believe that you're playing good, you will play good. I always say this to my friends, right? Like a couple of guys that I try to coach and shit, I literally tell them, the guy who says that he can and the guy who says that he can't are both right. They are both right. If you say you can't, then you can't. If you say you can, then you can. It's really that simple. So back to what I was saying, yeah? Once the negative self-talk starts happening, it's very difficult and pretty much impossible to stop. So you want to train your mind to not trigger negative thoughts upon losing, but instead produce positive ones. One of the best examples I can give you here is a phrase I say to myself very often whenever I start losing, which is, I don't give a fuck about losing. This is just practice. I'm just putting in the hours. This is by far one of the best things you can say. Because when you start looking at ranked as just practice, losing becomes just a part of the process and a learning experience instead of a detrimental one. You want to pick and choose a couple of phrases that are helpful, realistic, rational, and true. And trust me when I say this, they fucking work. I can give you so many examples. Things like, I can still improve even if I lose. I'm better than this guy. I won before, so they can win again. I'll try better the next game. I will not get mad if I lose this, right? I know this sounds kind of cringe, right? But bro, trust me when I say, once again, it fucking works, right? You don't have to say them out loud. You don't have to say it to the people around you. No, just say it in your mind, or maybe just whisper it so that only you can hear it. Or if you're by yourself, then say them out loud. Because saying them out loud is probably the best way by far. And so my advice would literally to not give a single fuck about what others think, even when you're on a VC. Literally, just say your affirmations out loud, bro. It doesn't fucking matter, okay? Now let's talk about another very important aspect here when it comes to your self-image, which is making a change, okay? What do I mean by that? It's very, very simple. If you want to change something, you need to change something. If you're stuck and you can't seem to rank up, if you've been trying to hit your first top 8, but you keep on placing lower, maybe for you it's top 32 or top 64, whenever you feel stuck and unable to hit that next milestone, it's because of you not making a change. Listen very carefully to what I'm about to say. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. How can you expect a different output when the input is still the same? If you're not where you want to be, it's because you're clearly doing something wrong. It's you and your actions. It's not your genetics. It's not luck. It's not your internet. It's not your setup. It's not your reaction speed. It's none of the excuses you make up. It simply all comes down to your actions. It's that simple. And so why not make better decisions and choose the right actions that will lead you to where you want to be? Because if you don't do that, you will remain the same and stay at the exact same position that you hate. So you have to learn how to eliminate your current self and literally create a whole new character, all the way from your identity to your actions to how people perceive you, a literal whole new person that is capable of the new challenges that comes in I can't even speak it anymore. A whole new challenges, like the challenges that arises, right? making a change have different forms, right? And you need to be very careful with this, because if you make the wrong changes, you may actually end up putting yourself in a worse position than before. Let me give you an example. Let's say right now you have a specific main character that you play. However, you're stuck in plat and you hate being there. You wanna hit diamond as soon as possible, and so you hear this advice of making a change, and if you do it, you will succeed. The big mistake you can make here is, for example, changing your main character, thinking that it's the problem. However, by doing that, you kind of go back to square one when it comes to learning, and so you end up dropping 300 elo like a retard. The reason why this is a problem and a big mistake is because you still hold on the belief that the issue is an external one rather than an internal. It's the character, it's the game, it's the weapon, etc, etc. However, the right way to make a change is when you change the things you are doing. Change your perspective, change when to attack, change when to dodge, when to jump, change your mindset, your beliefs, your approaches, etc. Those small things, such as when to dodge and when to attack, are the ones with the biggest impact, because you have 100% control over them, right? Always remember this. What got you here will not get you there, and this is where watching your replays comes in hand. I've talked about watching your replays loads on my channel and made a whole entire video about it, so you can check it out if you want. Learning how to watch your gameplay and understanding what goes through your mind in a match is one of the best things you can do, and it has such a high return, because when you can see what kind of thoughts you're having in a game, you now get the leverage to change it for the better and create your own game plan and thought process that will put you in the better position. So always make sure to keep on updating yourself every time. Keep on updating your self-image, upgrade your gameplay, your identity, your perspective and mindset, right? Upgrade those things and you will see results for sure, no matter what, right? Whenever you feel stuck, just remember it's because you need to make a change on something, otherwise you will stay where you're at. Section 5. Tilt and emotions. Let's start off this section by explaining what is tilt exactly. A lot of people think that tilt is being angry and mad about the game. It's when you rage and start making up excuses, etc. But I wouldn't call that tilt, to be honest. That's just raging, right? I would say tilt is being emotional, be it a positive or a negative one. Whenever you are being overly emotional and specifically acting upon those emotions, that's tilt. And so with this definition, raging is just a part of being tilted. This is by far, not even close, the biggest roadblock, the biggest issue you can face when it comes to competitive games. Tilt will always be the number one thing that will hold you back from improving, because when you're tilted, you eliminate your ability to focus, your logical thinking, your decision making, and basically everything that is responsible for making you win is gone and killed by rage and tilt, right? When being in an emotional state, be it positive or negative, like I said, you cannot think rationally. You will always revert back to coping, overconfidence, making excuses, and so much more among those lines, right? Because it's what your mind is designed to do in this state. Otherwise it's gonna hurt a lot more, and your brain wants you to avoid that pain at all costs. Everyone experiences tilt, right? For some it's very subtle, and others need to control the urge to not smash their fucking monitors. And by the way, I used to be like that myself, right? So whenever you're tilted, you cannot think straight anymore. That's how it works, right? And you start making very poor decisions because your emotions are way too high. Your ability to overcome tilt is very crucial to your development, right? You have to learn this skill. This is a non-negotiable if you want to go any forward, right? And so here I'll explain to you step by step how tilt happens, why does it happen, and how we can deal with it. Starting off with the first question, which is how does it happen in the first place? There are 3 steps to this process. This is kind of similar to the anxiety and fear section. First, there is a trigger. This can be something happening in the game, someone saying something to you, a certain thought. It can be anything, right? And it's different for each person. The trigger leads to an emotion: frustration, anger, excitement, overconfidence, etc. This is also different for each person, yeah? And then the final step is response. If you feel or have an emotion and you respond to it, that's tilt. If something triggers you, if you feel an emotion and you don't respond to it, that is not tilt, alright? As long as you don't respond to the emotion, it's not tilt, okay? Here is a list of the most common triggers that players tend to face. This list can go on forever and your trigger may not be here, but I just put it to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And these triggers lead to certain certain emotions, such as these examples you see on screen right now. And the same thing here, this list can go on forever, and the emotion you experience may not be here as well. So this is the process of how it happens, right? Now let's answer the next questions of why the fuck does it even happen in the first place, right? It's mainly because of two reasons. The first one being your expectations. If you expect something to happen but then it doesn't, this trigger an emotion. For example, let's say for example you expect yourself to win but then you don't, you might get frustrated or angry. Same goes if you expect your teammate to play well but then they don't, or you expect yourself to play well but then you make some dumb mistakes. Same thing, you will get triggered and you'll become quite emotional, right? But more on this later, we'll talk about expectation in a bit. The second reason is your personal life. Everyone has their own struggles and issues, and when you're playing, you bring those issues with you in the game. For example, let's say you just had like a rough day at school or work, and you come back to play a little bit, you can bring that frustration with you in the game. And that happens more often than you think, by the way. So make sure you take care of make sure you be like in a good mood before you start playing, okay? Like take care of your other responsibilities beforehand. Section 5.1, how to deal with tilt and control your emotions. Now the most important part of this section is the third question we have here, which is how to deal with tilt. I've got so many advices for you here, and I would recommend you revisit this section of the video in the future when you find yourself like being tilted or emotional, or maybe when you forget about what you've just learned, so you can come back here to recall what to do in this situation, okay? I also want you to understand that managing your emotions is a skill that you learn over time. It takes time to be good at like managing your anger, etc. You will not be able to perform good at the start, okay? But just like anything else, man, fucking practice, right? Just practice, okay? Get rid of this perfectionism mindset of like, well, I'm not good at it, so why even bother, right? This is not for me. That's the dumbest shit you can say, right? You will not get anywhere in life with that shitty mentality. I'm telling you this right now, yeah? Now with that being said, let's go, yeah? These clips are one of my favorites, and I watch them from time to time to remind myself of how pro players do it. As you can see, they are getting clipped, maybe reversed, maybe gimping someone, maybe they are the one getting gimped, maybe they are the one clipping the other player. The look on their faces is still the fucking same. I would say this is the end goal we're trying to reach here, right? When you are in this state of not giving a fuck, your decision making is probably at least 3 times or 4 times better than if you were tilted. Even if you were at the worst position possible, your chance of living and performing is so much higher than if you were to act upon those emotions. Even when you have the advantage, right? Even if you're literally winning, even if you are like better than the opponent and you're winning the game, it is better for you to not act upon those emotions, because that's what make you sell the games that should have been yours, right? Now here is your favorite part of the section, the practical step-by-step no bullshit way to get better at managing your emotions. Step 0, the prerequisite, understanding the effect of expectations. Earlier I mentioned how expectations play a big role when it comes to tilting. Oftentimes players have way too high expectations, and that leads to the biggest detriment to their mindset. One of the most common expectations that players often have is expecting to win way too many games. Alright, listen, yeah. If you hop into ranked 1v1 and you face someone who's equally skilled as you, which is exactly what happens in ranked, by the way, unless you're a pro player, of course, you end up winning 50% of the games you play. So how the fuck can you expect yourself to win most of your games? That's just dumb. That's just retarded in my opinion. On top of that, with a game like Brawlhalla, your actual win rate only shows up after around like 200 wins or like 300 wins. If you've just done your placement and you won 9 matches, that doesn't mean you have a 90% win rate and it will continue like that. No, it's just that you face lower players during placements and during the first 100 and 150 wins, right? It's not your average or actual win rate. Like I said, your actual win rate only shows up after around like 200 wins, right? And at that point you will have around 51, maybe 53 or 55% win rate, yeah? Maybe 60, maybe 60%, right? If you're really good at the game. But even then you still lose a lot of matches. That's simply the nature of competitive games. That's just how it works. I believe this idea of players expecting themselves to win so much came from social media, because let's say you open up YouTube, for example, to watch some Brawlhalla videos. all you see is literally the best players in the world performing at their best and winning every single match. But those guys had to put in at least 10,000 hours into the game to get to that point. And even if they don't win, they will cut off the matches where they lose because they don't want to present themselves in a bad image on the internet in front of thousands of people. You are not supposed to win. You're not supposed to win. Get rid of this mentality of, oh, why am I hard stuck with 50% win rate? It's so stupid. It's so dumb. Don't think like that, all right? We will come back to this topic of winning and losing in the next section when we talk about failure. But I just want you to understand that you're not hard stuck. You're not, right? It's just that improvement takes a lot of time and effort. By accepting this fact, you can now readjust your expectation and you will not get triggered at all, or like you will not get triggered so fast by losing multiple games in a row anymore. Do you know what I mean? And everything I've just said is literally just for 1v1, by the way, let alone in 2v2 or in other games like with 5v5 mode like League of Legends or Valorant, for example. Yeah, in 2v2, even if you perform at your absolute best, you only have about like 25% influence over the final results. That's not a big number at all, bro, right? There are 3 other players on the field that can affect the win just as much as you can, okay? So why the fuck would you set your expectations so fucking high? And this doesn't apply to just the winning, by the way, but to other things as well, such as weapons matchups, your teammates, characters, the map, etc., right? If you expect your teammate to play good, but then he doesn't, you will get tilted. If you expect yourself to win the match and you think that the win is guaranteed, you will lower your guard, which creates an opportunity for your opponent to reverse the match, for example. And if he wins, you will get tilted. If you expect your opponent to be trash at the game just because of a skin, a character, a color, or maybe specifically his playstyle, a lot of people think about this, right? They see his playstyle, they automatically assume that the player is shit. But then he ends up winning and you end up getting tilted and frustrated, right? I can give you even another example. Let's say you expect yourself to lose a certain matchup or against like a certain weapon, for example. It will trigger limiting beliefs and a lot of emotions in you, which leads you to losing and getting tilted. I remember back in the day I watched a clip of Sandstorm saying that during 2v2 tournaments, he would literally just tell his teammate that they're going to lose and that would end up actually making them win. And I've never really understood how the fuck can that be positive in any way, right? But the moment I did some research and I found about this topic of expectations, it all made sense. Because when you expect yourself to win every single set, you end up getting frustrated, anxious or scared or angry the moment you're close to the loss, and that leads you to losing even more. Because you're supposed to win every single set, you know what I mean? However, when you have the loss as an option in the back of your head and you know that it's a possibility, you think about losing just as much as you think about winning, you will end up playing better because you know that it's possible to lose, and so you try harder to avoid it. You can see how big of a role your expectations play here, so you better take your fucking time to work on this properly, okay? Actionable step 1. Identify your expectations and triggers. Each and every one of us have their own expectations and triggers. So the first step to fixing the issue here is by knowing what is it exactly for you. I'm gonna show that same list once again here, and maybe your triggers are here, maybe not, right? If not, then please take your time to sit and try to remember what is it exactly for you. Both your most common expectations and the most common triggers as well. They are different, okay? You have to know what they are before we go any further. If you don't know, or like you cannot remember what they are, then the next time you play ranked or the game in general and you find yourself getting tilted or emotional, make sure you stop or like finish your game real quick and write down on your PC, maybe a piece of paper or on your phone, what expectations did you have before the match, during the match, and what happened exactly that caused you to get tilted. Here's a simple example I can give you here. You hop into ranked and you end up queuing a Queen Knight player, for example, yeah? You look at the character and you think to yourself, before the match even starts, by the way, you literally think to yourself, oh, this guy is going to be a 6 spammer trash player, okay? That's like your expectation, right? Another expectation you may have as well, or like a belief that you may hold, is that you are better than 6 spammers, and so you should be able to easily beat them and win the match, right? The match starts, and this guy is actually a 6 spammer, you were right about it. You end up getting hit by 1, 2, 3, 4 signatures in a row. By the time you get hit by the 5th one, you start getting angry. That's the trigger right there. It's the signatures, okay? And this is a very brief example, right? For you, it can be a completely different story. And you will notice that there is actually patterns to when and how you get tilted. This is very important to know, and I'm going to explain to you why in a bit, right? Actionable step 2. Prepare yourself before it happens. Once you know the cause and the root of the problem, the next step is simply having a plan on how you will deal with the situations when it happens. This is why earlier I asked you to write them down, okay? Here is how you do it. Let's go back to the example I gave earlier. First, we look at the expectations, okay? We look at all of them, and in this example we have two. The first one being Sig spammers are trash at the game, and the second one is they're trash at the game, and so I should be able to win easily because I'm better than trash players, okay? Do you see a problem here? Who the fuck said that Sig spammers are bad and have no skills? Who the hell said that you're gonna beat them easily? Who the hell said that you are better than them in the first place, right? Who the fuck said that? It's just a belief that you hold. It's not factual. It's not reality, right? And once again, this is just an example to explain what I'm talking about here. This could be anything for you, right? For you, maybe it's not Sig spamming. For you, maybe it's Cannon. Maybe it's Katars, Lance, Olgrim, Azuri, Orion, Terrorist. Doesn't matter, right? This process is gonna usually remain the same, okay? So once you have your expectations and beliefs in front of you, now you simply readjust them to something realistic. For example, we changed the first belief from Sig spammers are trash at the game to something like using only signatures is just a different way of playing the game. And we can change the second belief slash expectation from they're trash at the game and so I should be able to win easily to something like my chance of winning is just as high as my chance of losing. I should probably learn more about this specific playstyle to be able to increase my chance of winning. Do you see how powerful this is? Imagine hopping into ranked with this mindset, yeah? You will be stoic as a fucking rock, bro. Nothing is gonna make you start complaining or crying like a little bitch at all. And that's when you easily fucking win. You will literally be too stalking every single guy in the queue and not understanding what the hell is going on. You literally be asking yourself the questions, bro, why the fuck am I winning way too much? And the people against you are going to be mad because of how good you're playing. It really all comes down to your mental, honestly. It really all comes down to, like, can you focus? Can you focus? It's as simple as that. And now for the trigger, you simply need to repeat a specific phrase in your head of something that counters the triggers, right? I can give you an example. For example, I will not get angry about X, which is the trigger, right? X is the trigger. I will not give a fuck if trigger happen, okay? So for this example right here, we have the trigger is getting hit by like 6 signatures in a row, right? You simply just say to yourself, even before you get hit by even one signature, you simply just say to yourself, I will not get mad if this guy starts hitting me with signatures, right? I don't give a fuck about how many signatures he will do. Let him do it, bro. I don't care about it, okay? Say something like that, and suddenly the trigger is not a trigger anymore. Instead, it triggers you to stay calm, like in a weird way, you know what I mean? And this is exactly how I did it, right? For me, the expectations that I had for myself was that if I'm on 3 stocks and my opponent is on last, my win is guaranteed. And so whenever I get reversed, I would literally have the urge to destroy something, bro. Holy fuck. Thank God I have good impulse control, otherwise I would have broken my setup and PC many times, honestly. I'd literally be screaming with anger like a fucking animal, right? And so what I did was very simple. I just understood that you can still lose the game even on 3 stocks. When I'm on 3 stocks and my opponent is on last, yeah, I would imagine myself and play as if I'm on the last stock as well. And like that, I never let my guards down and my chance of losing is so low, right? But I would also say to myself, if my opponent end up reversing this, I will not care about it. It doesn't matter. I'll just hop into the next game and I will play better, right? And so sometimes I actually do get reversed, right? When my opponent, let's say, is playing Scythe, for example, because I kind of struggle against the Scythe. And even if I'm like playing really serious, I still get reversed, right? I still get reversed, like I'm a fucking human being just like anyone else. But because I was ready for it, because I said to myself that it will not bother me at all, it actually didn't affect me whatsoever. I remember even once, like, literally all I did was shrugging my shoulders and go like, okay, I should have played that better. Then I go into the replays and see what I did wrong. Do you see the big difference there from literally, I literally told you earlier, yeah, I would have the urge to smash my monitors to something like shrugging my shoulders and going like, okay, I don't give a fuck. That's so powerful. Actionable step 3. Recognize it and name it. So this step is when you're actually playing and feeling the emotion in the moment, right? In the present moment. And here I want you to be aware of them as much as possible. Back to the first section of the video once again. You can see how important it is to be aware of your thoughts and emotions, right? That's why I talked about it first thing first before anything else, okay? So here, you just want to recognize what's going on before you start acting upon the emotions like a fucking robot. Be aware of it. Oh shit, I'm feeling anger. See it as something separate from you. Notice what I've just said right now. Don't say I'm angry, but instead I'm feeling anger. This creates some space and distance between you and the emotions so that it doesn't scale up as much as it could. Once you recognize it, see it as a thought, right? Look at it. It's right there. Observe it, right? It's just there. It's not you. It's an emotion separate from you, okay? In fact, it can affect you 100%, it can, but it doesn't have to be that way. Okay. Actionable step 4, taking control. Here you want to understand that you are the one who created this emotion, and so you are also the one who control it. However, before I tell you how to do that, first I need to make something very clear here, okay? The goal is not to become an emotionless robot, okay? Because emotions are necessary for performance. Remember the flow model I showed you earlier, yeah? If there is no emotions, then you will be in a state of apathy. Only when you have too little or too much of emotions, both positive and negative, will it cause problems, okay? There is another graph I actually want to show you here, and it's called the Yerkes-Dodson law. Basically, this graph states that you will perform better if your emotions rise, but only to a certain point. Once you cross that threshold, you start performing worse. And so, like I said, we don't want to become totally numb and not feeling anything at all. We just want to get rid of the negative emotions and have the rest under control. You want to control them before you reach your emotional threshold. If you can maintain yourself at the top of the bell curve, you will be able to perform at your absolute best every single time. And so how do you exactly take control? How do you do that, right? I like using 2 different ways. The first one being not speaking at all. Specifically, not saying things that are driven by emotions. This is a huge one, okay? So what I mean by that is, so for example, in my case, when I start feeling a little bit of anger or frustration, for example, I simply just shut my mouth up and I don't open it whatsoever up until I finish my session. Because when you say something out loud that is driven by a specific emotion, that emotion scales up at a disgusting fast rate. Same thing with your thoughts, honestly. Because even if you shut your mouth, if you're still making up excuses and thinking in an angry way, for example, but it's just in your head right now instead of like saying it out loud, that still makes the emotion scales up to a really big amount, okay? And like I said earlier, once you surpass that threshold, you start performing worse, okay? And so this is the first way to take control, which is by shutting your mouth and literally not saying a single word, right? And the same for your thoughts as well. Shut your emotional thoughts down and focus on the gameplay. Recognize them when they arise and just ignore them and act as if they didn't exist. Now this one is when the emotions is way too subtle, right? It's when it just popped up. That's when you use this technique, right? For the second technique, it's when the emotions is a little bit stronger, okay? When the emotion is kind of strong, you use this method, right? Which is by breathing properly. So this is a different breathing technique from the one in the anxiety section because they actually do have different outcomes, but you can still use this for anxiety as well because it's still very effective, okay? Basically, whenever you feel a very strong emotion, take a 2-minute break and do this technique, yeah? You start by closing your eyes and inhaling for 3 seconds into your belly, not the chest, but into the belly. Hold in the breath for 1 second and exhale out of the mouth for 5 seconds whilst visualizing that negative emotions leaving your body as you exhale. So inhale new fresh air for like 3 seconds, hold in for 1 second and exhale for 5 seconds whilst you imagine that emotion leaving your body as you exhale, okay? Actionable step 5, take a break. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you here, there will be some days where nothing of what you've just learned works, okay? You will be trying your absolute best to stay calm and it just won't happen. You just will not be able to do it, okay? And so I have something for this as well. Like I mentioned earlier, when the emotions arises to a certain point, I keep repeating myself here, it basically becomes almost impossible to stop the emotion, calm down, etc. blah blah blah. So you only have one choice when this happens, okay, in this case, which is taking a break and stopping for at least 15 minutes, okay? Go outside, talk to your friends, work out, walk your dog, play another calm, chill game, go eat something, literally just get off the desk and do something else. Preferably you want to get off the desk and specifically going outside. I found that is the best option by far, okay? This is the only way to reset back to the starting point. Once you're actually calm, you can now come back and apply the previous step that we talked about. And sometimes, even after taking a break, you will literally stay, keep on being emotional. In that case, I would literally just say, bro, understand that today is not the day. Shut the fucking game and just don't play it up until the next day. Step 6. A bonus mindset to have. Along with all of what you've just learned so far, I also want to give you a little bonus mindset that is going to help you a lot when it comes to approaching tilt, okay? Number 1, tell yourself the truth. Be aware of your situation, your rank and skill level. Never lie to yourself, and always remember that your average is not your peak. Your peak happens once at a time when everything goes right together. Your average is your performance on a daily basis, okay? Number 2, only focus on yourself. Never look or complain about things that you don't have control over. Things such as your opponent playstyle, the weapon they're playing, the character they're using, the matchups, the maps, etc. Right? Things like these are not under your control, and talking about them will not change anything. So only focus on what you can do, what attacks to use, what character to play, when to dodge, etc. Number 3, surround yourself with the right players. If you're around players who often complain and cry about how unfair their situation is, then it's just a matter of time up until you end up exactly like that as well. If your 2v2 teammate, for example, have a weak mental and he's often complaining about the opponent, or maybe he's complaining about you not performing well enough, then you just ask him nicely to change, and if he doesn't, you simply just go find someone else, right? So yeah, that was everything you need to know about dealing with tilt and managing your emotion. Honestly, sometimes I just wish someone had told me these when I was like gold and trying to rank up. If you've reached this point of the video, I just want to let you know that 1, you're so goddamn fucking lucky for finding about this knowledge, and 2, you are ahead of pretty much every single one in your rank. You just need some time to apply this shit properly, bro. Holy. So yeah, like the video, share it, subscribe, man, do all that shit, bro. It really helps more than you think. So yeah, go ahead and do it, yeah. Section 6. Failure and losses. This is my favorite topic by far, because I had such a bad approach to this back then, and the moment I fixed it, everything was just so much better and smoother, okay? I'm guessing most people are doing the same mistakes I did back in the day when I was trying to improve, and so I'm making this video with the attempt to share my mistakes so that you can learn from them without needing to go through the same struggles I did. The first thing I want to talk about here that no one else honestly have ever mentioned to you, I've never seen anyone talking about this, which is something I like to call the hard stuck myth. Hard stuck is not a real thing at all. Let me explain what I mean by this, right? Because maybe right now you're thinking, but at some point I was hard stuck, Xenix, you're wrong. Or maybe perhaps you're literally hard stuck right now and you cannot seem to rank up, right? First of all, what is hard stuck? I would say hard stuck is someone for which it doesn't matter how many hours you put into playing or practicing, he will remain in the same rank and skill level for way longer than average, okay? But the reason to why this is an illusion, and it seems as if you're hard stuck, it seems as if you're blocked and not going any forward, is because for every rank, it requires at least, yeah, double the effort and hours that it took you to reach the one before. So for example, if it took you 100 hours to reach gold, you're gonna need at least 200 hours to reach plat on top of the other first 100, right? Which makes it 300 hours in total. And if it took you 300 hours to reach plat, you're gonna need at least 600 hours to reach diamond, and if we add in the other 300, that's a total of 900 hours, right? So you can see that it's not a linear line at all. Improvement is never linear. It requires a lot of effort and time to get the results you want, and it keeps on getting harder and harder and harder the more you rank up. But the good news here is that if you are aware of your progress and improvement, and you don't play like an NPC like we mentioned earlier, you can actually get better at improving and make this process so much faster and easier, because you understand what it takes to get to the next level, like you're doing right here by watching this video, for example, right? If you control your improvement and you take the right actions towards your goal that you get to make, not only you will speed up this process by a ridiculous amount, but you will also be able to know why you're improving and why you're not, and predict when you're going to hit X rank or X elo, and your prediction will be right every single time. So at that point, it's not even being hard stuck anymore, it's just a matter of time until you reach your goal. So learn how to get better at improving. Think about what is causing what. You need to know the consequences of each action you take along the way, and what is it going to lead you exactly. Otherwise you will be clueless on what's going on, and you'll start blaming it on external factors that have nothing to do with this. The second thing I want to cover here is to stop looking at losses as failure, but instead as practice and a learning experience. So I talked about this a little bit earlier, and now I want to cover it in more details, right? Let me ask you a couple of questions here. How do you perceive your losses? What do you think about when you lose? What do you tell yourself upon losing? Is it anything positive at all, right? Most likely it's not, right? Most likely it's not. Don't bullshit. Let's not lie here. And that's because you look at losing and failure as something bad and unwanted rather than the foundation of learning. If you want to learn anything, the literal step one to that is failing. And then step two is literally learning from their failure. Most people don't want to fail. They're just desperate for the wins. And when they lose, they hate it. And they don't even try to learn from that loss. So how do they expect themselves to reach the next milestone? I'm gonna tell you this right now, yeah? There is not a single way, there is not a single method out there to get you somewhere or learn something without losing just as much as winning. So stop hating your losses and instead accept that it's a part of the process and do your best to learn from them. Also, something else I wanna add in here is that I want you to understand that no matter how low you drop, you will eventually get back up to your peak within a couple of days max a couple of days, right, with the right mindset. Because if you are the one who got your peak and you didn't get boosted, then you deserve it. You have the knowledge and you know you got what it takes to get to that point. No one can take that away from you. It's inside of your head, it's inside of your brain. When you learn something, it doesn't randomly go away. So don't be scared of dropping, because if you got it once, you can get it twice. And now it's just a matter of focusing the fuck up for the second time so that you can get a new peak. You know what I mean? So, like, because, okay, look, yeah, if you look at any top player or anyone who's better than you in general, it's literally just because they have lost more than you did. And you can check out brawlhalla to verify it yourself, right? I'm gonna take Pavelski as an example here because I don't know why, for some reason, everyone is worshipping this motherfucker. Fuck. Nah, worshipping Pavelski is crazy. If you like Pavelski and you somewhat desire to be a good player like him, yeah, look at the price you need to pay here. He have 44,832 losses as the time I'm recording this video. Are you willing to lose 44,000 matches to get to the point that he's at right now? That's 134,000 minutes of losing. It's 2,200 hours of just losing, right? Right now, probably your total games are not even 20% of his losses alone, right? So he lost more than 99.99999% of players. Does that make him a bad player? Okay, does that make him worse than 99% of players? He lost more than you, so technically you're the better player, right? Do you see what I'm doing here? All you need to do is literally just lose more and you will get to the top. All you need is the right mindset to get you through that many losses. That's it. Stop looking at them as if it's the end and there is something wrong with you because you're losing way too many games. Instead, understand that it's actually a good sign. The more you lose, the closer you are to the top. Listen carefully, yeah? The more you lose, the closer you are to the top. I'm gonna repeat that once again. Don't ever forget about what I've just said. The more you lose, the closer you are to the fucking top, okay? Keep that drilled into your dumbass mind and never ever forget about it, alright? I'm telling you this as someone who's been through all of this, right? Those painful losses that you hate and you want to avoid at all costs are 10 times more valuable than the short-term wins, right? You don't need my help when it comes to winning. Winning feels so good to everyone. It's so easy to feel good when winning. The real challenge comes when you lose and the way you deal with that loss. So embrace it and always do your best to learn from the loss instead of complaining like a little bitch. Make it a habit to ask and know why you lost instead of making up excuses, alright? The next time you lose, I just want you to sit and ask yourself, why did you lose? And how does it feel, right? Be critical of what happens next and start seeing it as an opportunity rather than failure. I even have another advice here regarding to failure. Which is this dumb, retarded, stupid perfectionism mindset that a lot of people have, right? And I hope I can destroy it here if you're one of those people. Earlier I talked about how most players expect themselves to win way too many games, or maybe they've watched some videos of like top players destroying everyone they play against, right? However, what people don't understand is that what they're seeing is just the final results of years and years put into practice. You've got no idea, you have no clue on how much effort these people have put into the game to get to that point. How the fuck can you get mad or sad for not having the same skill level or win rate as them? How is that possible when you didn't even pay half the price they did to get to that point? No one is special. This is something I want you to understand. No one is fucking special. The only difference between you and pro players is that pros have put in at least 5 to 10 times more practice into the game than you did. That's it. That's the only difference. So if you want the same results, go ahead and take the same action as them if that's something you desire. Section 7. Excuses and coping. I have no clue to why I left this section for the end. This one have a very similar effect to your progress as the tilt section. Honestly, I would say like excuses and coping is part of being tilted, to be honest, right? Because usually you only make up excuses when being in an emotional state, right? When you're thinking logic, you will not make dumb excuses, okay? There are two different types of excuses that people tend to make, right? And I want to cover both of them here. The first one being in-game excuses, such as the weapons, the playstyle, the character, etc. And the second type of the excuses is the external ones, such as I'm not talented, I have a bad internet, I have a bad setup, and so on and so forth, okay? Let's start off with the first one, which is blaming things like the game mechanics, the characters, or maybe like the opponent's playstyle, for example. You simply need to understand that these are elements of the game that everyone has to deal with. Like, you're not fucking special here. Everyone is dealing with the same shit you're dealing with, right? And so rather than seeing them as an unfair advantage, look at it as a difficult challenge to overcome or like an opportunity to improve your gameplay. 90% of the time, the excuses that people tend to make are never objective, but rather subjective. Scythe players often complain about hammer. Hammer players complain about blasters. Blasters complain about katars. Katars complain about axe. Axe complain about cannon, and so on and so forth. The list can go on forever. You will never really find a satisfied player about the situations, and that's normal because matchups do actually exist. Some weapons are more credible to counter specific weapons than the other ones, right? But that's what gives the game its own flavor. When there is no challenge, imagine if they did what you wanted. They did exactly what you wanted, and they made your weapon the best one in the game, and you wouldn't struggle at all when playing it, right? You will be fucking bored. You will be bored. You will be in a state of boredom and apathy towards the game, and you will end up just quitting. So stop looking at the situation as if you are the victim here who cannot do anything, but rather look at it as a challenge that you simply need to learn how to overcome. It's that simple. Stop crying about it, right? This applies to everything in the game, by the way, not just the weapons you're facing. For example, one of the most common ones, you see this one pretty much in every single rank, right? Which is players complaining and making up excuses about the opponent playstyles. Oh, he's a sig spammer. He's just passive. He's not approaching. What a pussy. If I were to play passive, I would be rank 1, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna lower myself to their level. Oh my fucking gosh. Honestly, bro, if you have any of these thoughts, yeah, I just want you to understand that you're a fucking pussy. Like, you're weak as fucking shit. You can call me arrogant or whatever, bro. I don't give a fuck. This is my opinion, yeah? If you ever complain about anything instead of trying to find a solution to the problem, you are a stupid individual. You're genuinely retarded. I sound like a dick, but it's fucking true, because like, think about it, right? Let's actually think about this for a second. How is complaining going to help you in any way? Come on now. Like, how is it gonna do anything? How is it gonna change anything? You have to accept, you have to understand that all of your excuses are just lies. They're lies, all of them. Because right now, you know for a fact that if we were to get a pro player to play on your setup right now, he would be able to easily beat every single thing you're complaining about, using what you thought is unusable, right? So once again, do not bullshit yourself here by saying, oh, he's actually just passive, bro. Shut up! Just shut up, man. I don't want to hear that weak shit ever again. If he's not approaching, then what is he doing? And adapt to that. It's that simple. Does he jump to escape your attacks? Well, then punish the fucking jump. Does he run away to the edge? Well, then attack the fucking edge and stop complaining. It's not that deep, pussy. There's a second type of pussies who will admit that it's their fault, which is good, but then they will cry and complain about how bad they are. Oh, I'm so bad. Oh, I'm so terrible at the game. Bro, shut the fuck up, bro. Shut up and play. Just shut up and play, bro. Find the solution and take control of the situation instead of complaining like a little bitch, bro. Holy. None of that matters. None of what you complain about matters. Forget about them, right? Just focus on what you can do. How can you win? And boom, there you go. You're better than 99% of players. It really is that simple. It all comes down to how good are you at understanding if you're right or wrong. It really is that simple. But it's not easy. You want to blame yourself for every loss that happens. But don't be fucking depressed when you make dumb mistakes or something, right? Because it doesn't fucking matter, bro. Losing or winning doesn't matter, bro. Just look at it as if you're literally just practicing. You're just putting in the effort, right? Another very big problem I faced myself is thinking that talent is actually a real thing. And I'm simply like not built for this, right? Which is total fucking bullshit. I have shown in a lot of my videos how I was stuck in gold. I was stuck in plat. I know what that feels like, right? I thought that something was wrong with me. I genuinely thought that I had slow reaction time. And look at me now. I'm better than 99% of players. I got top 1 Baraza in Europe. I've got top 4 Baraza global. 2200 in ones, 2400 in twos within like 2 seasons. And the best part here is that I'm not fucking special whatsoever. I just did the right things for a good period of time. A lot of people have this mindset of, I'm not good at it, so why bother trying? No. It's the other way around, you retard. You do it because you're not good enough so that you can learn how to become good, okay? If you don't know how to ride a bike, what do you do to learn it? It's failing so many times up until you know how to do it. It's that simple, right? Imagine if a friend of yours came up to you and he's never rode a bike in his life, and when he tries for the first time and fails, he goes like, well, looks like this is not for me. I'm not talented enough. I should try something else instead. You'd look at him as if he's retarded, right? So why would you ever adopt this mindset when it comes to other aspects of your life? It's so stupid and it will never serve you in any way. So completely drop it and understand that as long as you keep trying to improve and you put in the hours, you will reach every single goal you set. It's just a question of did you put in the work or not, and that's completely under your control. Section 8, conclusion. So yeah, that wraps it up for this video. I'm literally dying right now. My throat hurts. Holy fucking shit. So here's a quick conclusion of everything we've covered so far, yeah? Number 1, be aware of your actions and situation at all time. Be self-critical with what goes through your mind. Simply remember to not be a fucking NPC. Number 2, anxiety is the fear of the unknown. Once it becomes known, the fear goes away. Remember to repeat the actions over and over again to get rid of the fear. Stay calm under the pressure, breathe properly, don't think or talk about what can go wrong, and remain positive. And always choose fight over flight. Number 3, the flow state is what's gonna set you apart from everyone else. There are 4 steps to entering flow. First one being finding a balance between your skill level and the challenge difficulty. Second is eliminating the flow blockers. Third is getting the flow triggers. And finally, experiencing the flow cycle. Number 4, you can be arrogant as much as you want, but make sure it's under control and don't be delusional. The only way to be confident is by becoming competent and capable first. So go ahead and put in the effort and achieve something. Eliminate all the negative self-talk and replace it with a positive ones. And always make sure you keep on making small changes to go to the next level, because what got you here will not get you there. Number 5, tilt is the number 1 thing that will hold you back from improving. There are 4 steps to being tilted. Your expectations leads to a trigger. The trigger creates an emotions, and then finally there is your response, right? To fix this, you need to understand the effect of expectations. Identify them, prepare yourself before it happens, recognize them and name them when they arise, and finally take control. If none of that works, just take a break and come back later. Number 6, the only reason why anyone is better than you is because they have failed more than you did. Don't try to avoid failure and hate it, but instead embrace it and look at it as a learning experience and an opportunity to improve. Number 7, excuses are fucking lies to escape the pain of losing. Be critical about them and eliminate them as soon as they arise. Talent is fucking bullshit, and no one is fucking special, right? Get rid of the perfectionism mindset. And finally, I'm done with this shit. Holy, a whole fucking month of work. God damn, bro. Holy hell. Yeah, you better fucking like and subscribe, honestly, bro. If you made it this far, holy, you are dedicated, bro, right? Yeah, if you made it this far, honestly, you're pretty much ahead of like 99% of players. Now, literally, all you need is just put in the work, put in the effort, play the game, do the right things, learn like the fundamentals, learn neutral approaching, etc. I have videos on those as well. And if you want to take it even further, get my coaching. I'll literally help you get like at least 1 or 200 elo in like 1 day or 2, and then the rest is up to you, right? So yeah, man, have a good one.